Good morning. Welcome to Abundant Life Homestead. Feeling quite a bit better this morning. Like I've said several times, I don't get sick very long at all. When everybody else gets sick for 3 to 5 days, I might get it for a day. If everybody else gets it for 3 weeks or more, I might get it for 3 to 5 days. So my glands were swelling up yesterday, and my throat got pretty sore, but woke up feeling a lot better this morning. And that's just one thing I've always had. My body seems to be made out of pieces that break easy, but my immune system, I was blessed with a really strong immune system, and it's only flipped on me one time during that first and worst wave of COVID. I got it. It hit me for about 6 weeks, and about 3 of those weeks, I seriously thought every day that might be the last day, that I wasn't going to make it through it, and it did kill some of my friends, and it almost took old man Lee. He was in a coma for almost 2 full months, but and the odd thing with that one was that out of the 7 of us on the property at the time, I was the only one who got it. But anyway, that was long ago and far away. How's everybody doing this morning? It's a little colder this morning. Wintertime had to remind us that it's not over yet. But we did get a couple warm days, and that was nice. If you saw the thumbnail, for this video, it was I had the flag flying out there, and it was a new Army flag that I was able to put up. If you follow along a lot of my wintertime videos, you might have seen that my Army flag that I fly right below the United States flag was ripped in half. One of the winter storms ripped it in half. I couldn't get it down because we've been frozen ever since, and that flagpole that Grandpa put out there is a telescoping pole. It wouldn't unfreeze. I couldn't get it down. So we warmed up enough that I was able to put up a new flag, and that made me feel a little better, because it was kind of disgraceful to have that Army flag up there ripped in half. But now we're cold again. I don't know how long we're going to stay cold. It'll get above freezing today, and looks like it's going to bounce between the low 40s and below freezing for the next few days. So not deep winter like we just had. I'm thankful for that. So anyway, we get into this morning, Wednesday. I want to start with the Bible study this morning. On Wednesdays, we do an Old Testament passage. And today's passage is Isaiah 6, 1 through 8, and 9 through 13. I know that just makes it 1 through 13, but the way they do it in the study, as our church picks it up from the Revised Common Lectionary, like the 1 through 8 is the important part to the study, and the 9 through 13 is kind of a optional if you want to add it, and I always add it. So we're going to be Isaiah 6, 1 through 13. And this starts out as Isaiah's vision. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw in a vision the Lord sitting on a throne, high and exalted, with the train of his robe filling the most holy part of the temple. And above him seraphim, heavenly beings, stood. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 wings he covered his face, with 2 wings he covered his feet, and with 2 wings he flew. And one called out to another, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is filled with his glory. And the foundations of the thresholds trembled at the voice of him who called out, and the temple was filled with smoke. Then I said, Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of ceremonially unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, Listen carefully. This has touched your lips. Your wickedness, your sin, your injustice, and your wrongdoing is taken away, and your sin is atoned for and forgiven. And starting in 8, Isaiah's commission. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, Here I am, send me. And he said, Go and tell this people. Keep on listening, but do not understand. Keep on looking, but do not comprehend. Make the heart of this people insensitive, their ears dull, their eyes dim. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and return and be healed. Then I said, How long, Lord, how long? And he answered, Until cities are devastated and without inhabitant, and houses are without people, and the land is utterly desolate. The Lord has removed his people far away, and there are many deserted places in the midst of the land. And though 1/10 of the people remain in the land, it will again be subject to destruction, consumed and burned, like a massive terebinth tree, or like an oak whose stump remains when chopped down. The holy seed, the elect remnant, is its stump, the substance of Israel. Okay, so what stands out in that scripture? What kind of speaks to you? What talks to you? What seems important? And here up in the beginning, the year it talks about the year King Uzziah died, and that would have been a very big deal to not only to Isaiah but to the people. King Uzziah was a mighty king. He was a very accomplished king, very long reign. The Israel prospered under him. They even in battles, I know they defeated the Philistines, and it was all because King Uzziah walked with God. And as long as he walked with God, Israel prospered. And then Uzziah kind of turned against God. I don't remember exactly where the story is. It's in the Old Testament. But when Uzziah, I guess he got too confident. He decided he was going to enter the Holy of Holies. He was going to burn his own incense. And when he was told by the priests he could not, he went into a rage. And during that rage, God struck him with leprosy for being disobedient to him, for turning against him. And so Uzziah ended up dying a lonely old man with leprosy. The greatest king those people had ever known stopped walking with God and died a tragic death. So that would have been a big deal, not only to the people but to Isaiah. And so I think the point of this here in the timing is Isaiah has seen this devastation from a king dying, and he sees God through that. He has this vision. God shows him himself on the throne above the temple, and we can see that in pretty much any of our own devastating downfall times where the worst things have happened to us. The future just suddenly looks dim because something major has happened, and God says, wait a minute, I'm right here. I'm still up here. I'm still the king. So that hopefully is a comforting thing, but also a fearful thing. We as you get in here, and he said, Isaiah, he would have been comforted by the knowing that God was there, but he also, I said, woe is me, for I am ruined. Now he's suddenly fearful. He's seeing God, and in a vision, because we know Isaiah lives on. If he were to stand before God in a way that he could see God, he would have been destroyed, because we know from many other places that's we weren't created to stand before God in that way in our human form, and though anyone who had seen him had perished. And even the angels, that one of their sets of wings is to cover their eyes, because they were not created to look upon God in that way. They're not holy enough, we're not holy enough. But woe is me, he's suddenly kind of scared that he's standing before God, and he's feeling unclean, and he knows he's done wrong, much like we talked about Paul yesterday. He had persecuted Christians, and Jesus came to him. Or we talked about Peter on Monday. He was just a lowly fisherman. Jesus came to him. All of these three now in a row, they knew they weren't good enough for this. They knew that they felt that they had no business being in the presence of God, or even doing anything for God, or even being worthy of being part of this. And that's once again, that's something that I think each and every one of us can go through, whether we're part of something huge or part of something small. It comes from, I think, comparing ourselves to the other people around us. We see the others that do so much good, and we think about what little we've done, even though we don't see what great things we've done. We think about what little we've done and how we're not worth it, and these people that have done great things, they should be doing more great things. And what in the world are we even able to do? Nothing. We're so small, we're so unworthy. God chose the wrong person when he touched me, when he talked to me. And it's just not so. God chooses us because he knows what he can make us into. And here again, what he can make us into, the seraph in this vision, the seraphim comes to Isaiah and touches his lips with a burning coal. He burns away the uncleanness with fire, and tells him that his sins are atoned and forgiven. So God says, you don't have to be great. You don't have to be good. You don't have to think that highly of yourself. You think that highly of me, and I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to make you into what I want you to be. I'm going to work through you. We're going to do this together. Then we get into Isaiah's commission. And this is where we kind of, if we just read the first passage and we never knew what happened to Isaiah, we could assume Isaiah perished because he stood before the Lord. But being just a vision, he didn't actually see the face of God himself there on the throne, because now Isaiah is getting his commission. He's getting the call to go out and be a prophet and a preacher to the people. And this one is a little hard, and it's a little odd, because when God calls and says, "Okay, who's going to go?" and he raises his hand, "Hey, me, I feel this. I'm going to do this, God." So God says, "Okay," and he says, "Go and tell the people, basically all this with keep on listening but do not understand, keep on looking but do not comprehend." He's basically telling Isaiah, you're going to go out and preach to people who aren't going to care. You're going to stand there and preach every day. They're going to hear you, but they're going to listen to you, but they aren't going to hear your words. They aren't going to understand it, and they aren't going to really want to. And so he's telling him to keep doing this until the cities are completely devastated, and the houses are without people, and the land is desolate. And let's see, hang on a second. And 1/10 of the people will remain in the land. I don't know if that means a tenth of the entire population or just a tenth of the people that are God's people will stay in that land. I think that's what it means. There's still going to be other inhabitants, other nations in the land, but God's people, only a tenth of his people will still be there. The ones that still love him, he's moved into safety. It says the Lord has removed his people far away. So the people that still trust God, follow God, the people who didn't turn from God in all the terrible time that they're having after such a great king has passed, the people who don't turn from God, he's already moved 90% of them away. And so a tenth of his people remain in the land. And then it will again be subject to destruction. So this isn't the first time, and we know it's not the last time that basically the entire land of Israel will have to be rebooted again. And then that tenth who remains are the seed. They will be the ones who rebuild Israel. So yeah, as far as connecting this to our lives today, and we already can start connecting it to what we've seen this week, we've got Isaiah, who just doesn't feel like he is good enough. He is not worthy, but God has come to him where he is, and and when things are just terrible, things are devastating, when nothing is going right. I had a small conversation with someone the other day. It was online, and they only responded once, so it was a very short conversation. But they were asking, what if life is so brutal, and I can't remember the words they used. Basically, life is so brutal, and so it was constantly so brutal that you wake up in the morning and you can't even manage to find the motivation to eat your breakfast. And one of the things I told them was, I told them to name the things you love, talk about the things you love, name the things you fear, and audibly commit to loving the things you fear, because perfect love casts out all fear. But I also told them, get into the Bible. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter if you're a strong believer or if you're just curious. Open your Bible every day, read a little bit, connect it to your life, and things will stop being less brutal. They're not going to get much easier. They didn't get much easier for Isaiah here. I mean, he's going out into a people that aren't going to care about him. It's not going to be much easier, but life is going to feel a whole lot less brutal when you start connecting it to God like that every day. And I haven't heard back from the person, so I don't know if they took that to heart. I hope they did, and hopefully that helps someone else. But it's one place where we can really see our lives is just in this first part, and God is right there on the throne through the devastation. He's still there. Doesn't matter what happens in our government. He's still up there on the throne. Doesn't matter what happens between you and your neighbors. He's still there. Your health falls apart. You get something terminal. He's still there. Your kids turn against you. He's still there. And let me, as I always do, I'll just see what Melinda says. I don't like to leave her hanging. Okay. Well, she's with my son. He's at the doctor, and they're getting ready to test him for strep. Ooh, I think he got strep, and they're going to start a steroid. Okay. So, if you pray for the kids, especially this week. They said I was sick for about a day, but normally when I have it, everyone else is sick a little longer, and my son appears to possibly have strep. I've mentioned the kids pretty much every day this week and things they've got going on. So let me look here. Somebody commented, but it's not showing up. Okay, that's all right. Anything else we can pull out of today? I think that's really the big part of it. You know, no matter what's going on, how bad things are, God is there. He's on the throne. And no matter how little we think we are and how unworthy we think we are, God will use us, because we don't need to be great. We just need to turn to Him and let Him make us. Let Him work through us, with us, make us, and mold us into who He wants us to be. And maybe a little more with the when, you know, I don't remember if I've mentioned it on here or not, but when we have this discussion, well, God is calling you here, well, don't question it, go. Or, you know, I feel like God is calling me to do this, but, and, you know, someone else says, well, why are you waiting? Go. When God calls you, go. And even if you know that what you see, what you think is going to happen is going to be fruitless. If you feel like God is calling you into a mission field, and for whatever silly reason, silly to you, you feel like He's calling you to New Jersey in the mission field, and you sit there, you can sit at home and say, well, nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody's going to care. No, you go anyway, and that's what Isaiah did. He knew, and he didn't have to think ahead of time that it wasn't going to go well. God told him it wasn't going to go well, but you do it anyway. I think that's all I've got for today's Bible study. If you have the same or different feeling out of this, if any part of the passage just hits you, or there's anything you'd like to discuss from it, leave a comment below. We'd greatly appreciate it, and we'll definitely interact with that. And I think that'll be the end of this morning's Bible study. So what else we got today? I don't have too terribly much. I'm getting ready to go wake Grandma up here in about 6 or 7 minutes. Both me and Grandma do have a doctor's appointment this morning. She's getting, it's a chiropractor. She's going to get her back adjusted and get therapy on her back, and I've got to get therapy on my foot. I've started having to do that a couple times a week. I think I pushed my luck a little too far walking around on my foot. And it may be a story for another time, but there will be times when I can't walk. There's very few times you'll see me walking on camera with my cane, which I'm supposed to always have, and other times I'm too bullheaded. I leave the cane leaning somewhere else while I'm on camera, and I just put up with it. But it's starting to catch up with me. My foot's having some issues. I'm having to have therapy on it a couple times a week. So after that, we get back about lunchtime. I'll have the rest of the afternoon free to work on the tractors and stuff. I've started putting together the video for the carburetor. I'll be putting together a video soon for the key switch and the key switch and the battery on the Kubota. The carburetor's off my best friend's tractor, so we won't have that tractor here, but we'll be working on a carburetor, and then we'll see where it goes from there. If you have anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to see from what we've got going on here on the homestead or here in the morning chats, let me know. I'm always open to ideas and suggestions. I don't know how long I've been sitting here live, but say I'll be going to wake Grandma up here in about 5 minutes and get the day started. Hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. I think I'm going to try to do this tomorrow. I don't know about Friday mornings. I think 4 days a week is probably plenty. And Friday I may spend compiling a video of the week's worth of Bible study and then add a little to it and have it like a Friday evening or Saturday morning pre-recorded video, I think. We'll see how that goes. But I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. And until next time, just keep on nourishing your dreams, cultivating your passions, embracing the beauty of God's creation, and we'll see you then.